This video is part of the Brightspace plugin integration series. This video in particular will be covering grade return for both the student and how the teacher can also play a part in helping grade return be accomplished. So there are two ways for the grades to pass from LabSim and into Brightspace. Those two ways, one is for the student to accomplish, and the other way is for the teacher to clean up and to pass back the remaining scores. So let's first talk through the student's experience and how the student would pass back those grades. So after the course has been built, you're going to see something similar to this. You're going to see a link to different practice exams, lab simulations, potentially videos or text lessons. Though the best assignments for grading are those practice questions and lab simulations. Now, when a student comes in, they're going to see this, they're going to click on these links, and they're going to do those assignments. As soon as they click on a link, they're going to then gain, they're then going to create an association between that assignment and the gradebook, and that's going to allow for the grades to be passed from LabSim into Brightspace. Now, there is a one-to-one relationship for the student if they want the grade to come back. They would need to click on 128, do the assignment in LabSim, close it, come back into Brightspace, click on 223, do the assignment, the grade would then, or close it, the grade will come back, click on 233. So each of these links need to be selected. So when you click on it, they'd come in and do that assignment, and then they'd have to close it out. Okay, so start lab, close it. So they'd come in and they'd close these, and then come back to chapter 2 and do the next assignment. We understand that that process isn't the easiest and not the best experience for the students, and that's why we've created a second way for the grades to come in. As long as the students click on one of the assignments, we create an association between their account and their LabSim account, their Brightspace and LabSim accounts. So if they click on that 128 and then they stay within LabSim and they do multiple assignments, so say they clicked on that, they hit start, they do the lab, and then they do not return, and they just keep learning in here, then they start the lab here and 223, do the assignment, and then they keep moving on. Those grades will not be passed back automatically, and that's where the teacher's role comes in. And where the teacher does it is the teacher would come in, they'd go into their, they'd go to their table of contents, they need to get to their course builder again, into that EduApp tool. Once they're in there, get to the course builder. Then they're going to take the plugin and they're going to drag and drop it into any group. It doesn't matter which one when you're doing the grade sync. It'll sync for all of your modules. Come to this fourth button down, synchronize student grades, and you're going to see instructions. These are important to read, so please read them. But this is going to sync the students' grades. The couple things to keep in mind: we do respect due dates. We will not sync anything that has a due date on it or that it's past the due date. So we take the timestamp in LabSim and we look at the due date in Brightspace and say, okay, it's past the due date, we won't sync that score. The score also needs the class also needs this one here, sorry. This one here, it says that the class needs a start date. Without a start date, we don't know what to sync, and so please be sure that your class has a start date on that. You can synchronize score. As you can see, it would be processing. You can leave this screen and come back to it, as it can take a little bit of time depending on how large your class is. If you have a small class, it'll just take a couple minutes. If you have a moderate class, I'd guess around 10 minutes. But we have had really large classes that'll take up to 2 hours on that. Once that's done, you'll want to pay attention to this updates on the far right. This will tell you how many scores were passed back. You can also check out the log. There's a log here that's really good for that. Now, some common things with grade sync that may happen if your students' grades are not being passed back. Please make sure, again, that the student has clicked on an assignment at least once. If the student has not clicked on an assignment, and as long as if they're not in that account, then the grades will not be passed back. We have to have the association between LabSim and Brightspace. Now, another possibility is if they signed in through TestOut.com. So say they came to TestOut.com, they logged in, and they created an assignment here, or sorry, created an account here. If they create an account in this process, then there's potentially two different accounts, one that was created through Brightspace and one that was created through TestOut. So you would want to make sure that these two accounts get merged. Once they're merged, then the grades will sync properly. That's everything that you should know about grade return. Good luck with your term.